at www.spreaker.com. Create your own radio show and find thousands of exclusive radio channels.
Hi, this is Kelly with Wake Up with Kelly Hawkins. Thank you for listening. It is July 24th, 2012. I hope everything's still doing good with you. Sorry I didn't broadcast yesterday. I actually watched a movie, which I never do. Well, I do occasionally. I can't say never because I don't get TV here, which is a good thing because I don't need to be watching TV anyways. No one really does. You know how I feel about mainstream media. And so I watched this movie, The Stepford Wives, and oh my gosh, it's so good. I saw the original, and I really liked that. And then I saw the cast to the new one, and I like Matthew Broderick. Okay, Matthew Broderick's cool. But I really don't like, what's that lady's name? Bette Midler. I really don't like Bette Midler. And there were some other people in the cast that were just like, yeah, neither here nor there. So I didn't realize how amazing the movie was going to be. And it really was, so I'm glad I watched it. And so that kind of took more time than I'm used to doing. Plus I did some other stuff. But overall, it was kind of just like a boring day, really. I can't say it was a boring day, it was a day, you know? And so, oh, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, they're like one of my favorite bands. I've been a fan of theirs for a long time. It's kind of like what old punk rockers listen to. Us middle-aged punk rockers, we listen to swing music, and have been for like a while. I'm sure I'm not the only person in that category. And they have this new song out, and it's really awesome. I wanted to play it for you. It's on a YouTube. And it actually has this dancer that's tap dancing to the music, and she kind of is part of the song. The tapping became, part of the music. And that makes it especially good. Okay, so I'll play it.
Snatch that key, hide it in your pocket, show your teeth. And when you smile, sweating like a sinner on your preacher's lap. Stamp your fingers, tap your toes, break your finger on the beautiful rose. Well, every dog will have his day. Well, trust me, son, you're gonna pay. And you can buy your way down to the playground. But you always see a new won't find what you're looking for inside us. Fashion guarantees. You can try to go to heaven on the devil's cake. The heaven you find is the heaven you make. I'm not trying to preach you. I'm just trying to help you. Make life better for you. Shaking everything, don't you do the devil's dance. I'm not trying to preach you. not better for you. Shake it, nearly break it, don't you do the devil dance. Seven boots out, this is what I was on.
Yeah, that song is really cool. Okay. It's like part of a 15-minute video. And actually, 16.5-minute video. It's kind of like Dancing with the Stars format, where they're just like interviewing everybody and showing snippets and them practice dancing and stuff, but it's pretty awesome. I like that song. So let's see what else. I just basically wanted to apologize for not broadcasting yesterday. I hope nobody got worried about me. I was on Facebook, so I don't think anyone would. It's just that, when I say I'm going to do something, I like to do it every day, I say I'm going to be broadcasting every day, I should broadcast every day instead of spacing out and watching movies. But it was a really, really good movie. And I got some other ones from the library. I got some from the History Channel, which isn't really a movie, but they're like History Channel shows. Actually about history, too. Not about UFOs or ghosts or anything. It's about, I forget what decade. It's like the decades, and they go from decade to decade. And I forget what decade I got. I think it was the 40s. Maybe not. And I also got, I don't know, another comedy and action. That's what I usually get. I usually get a couple comedies, a couple actions, and history. Or a couple histories. But those are the genres I usually like. I don't like dramas. I really can't stand dramas. Because it's like, if I wanted to watch people yell at each other, I never would have broken up with my son's dad, Seriously. So dramas aren't my thing. Just people yelling at each other, blah. And I really like action movies. They're my favorite. And I like comedies too. I'm trying to think if there's anything like in the news that I wanted to talk about, but I guess everyone's still talking about that Colorado shooter, which is, horrible what happened. So I understand why everyone's talking about it, and it's kind of like opening people, at least in my Facebook friends, about MK Ultra, and also gun control. Because the people that are against gun control are like really, saying if somebody in the theater had a gun, maybe not as many people would have died. But that's just assuming the official scenario is true, which I don't think it is. From what the witnesses say, the shooter had help, or maybe there was more than one shooter. You know, most of the witnesses were killed. I think, I don't know. I really have been looking into it too much because I don't do things that upset me for the most part. And so it's like an upsetting topic. So it's not something that I like delve into too much. Which kind of seems strange that I would like be into all the conspiracy theories. Well, what we used to call conspiracy theories, I still do. And but like it's one thing that I've always been interested in. Like always. Like so many of the people I meet, they were like they woke up with the terminology. They woke up like 4 years ago, 3 years ago. And like I woke up in elementary school. You know? Seriously. I remember it. I remember exactly when it happened. My teacher was teaching about propaganda in the Soviet Union and how aren't we lucky that we live in a free country, because in the Soviet Union all their schools do is teach about how bad America is, and how aren't we lucky we aren't in the Soviet Union because we're free. And I'm like, but aren't you just spending a whole hour talking about how bad the Soviet Union is, and yet you're saying that they say how bad we are? Isn't that the exact same thing? And I think that's really the moment that I woke up. Sometime in elementary school. And I've always been like, I don't know, reading books and stuff about conspiracies. Like, just the word conspiracy would draw me to it. So I read None Dare Call It Conspiracy. I don't know. Like, before my son was born, anyways. I think it was like, probably still a teenager, 19. And I read other books about it even before that. About the same topic. And it was like a topic my friends would talk about, because I was a protester. Even back then, I was protesting the bombing of Libya when I was in high school. Protesting, yeah, the bombing of Libya back in the 80s. And protesting nuclear anything. Nuclear power, nuclear weapons, anything nuclear is too dangerous to have on the planet. And so my friends that I hung out with, they were also people that were interested in the same things, and that's the kind of thing we would talk about. We talked about the Trilateral Commission. And people asked me, well, how'd you know about the Trilateral Commission? Like, back then, in the 80s and early 90s. And it was because we read. We read a lot of books. So, and yeah, there were books written about it. So it's like always been like something that I cared about. Yeah, I'll just keep talking about this subject, why not? So like, I don't know, I was living in Maine in 2003, living in Augusta, Maine, and I was part of these Yahoo groups, these conspiracy Yahoo groups. And I basically like did it more than Facebook. I'd be reading these articles, and there was so much disinformation. It was kind of annoying. But I was reading these articles that people would post, and just emails and stuff. Like basically from the time I got home from work until the time I went to bed. And that's when I learned the word chemtrail because I'd always seen the chemtrails and they looked funny to me and I knew it wasn't right. But that's when I first learned the word chemtrail. And actually, I'd come to find out that the rest of the country weren't getting chemtrailed the way we were in DC back in the 70s and 80s, you know? The rest of the country weren't getting chemtrailed until the 90s. And I know I started going on those Yahoo groups in 2003 because because that was my email name. I had the word 2003 in it. And of course I did that for a few years. And then I got some like personal problems, so I kind of like left all those groups because of the personal problems. Um, yeah, but I was in groups. I was looking for them, and they don't really exist anymore. One was, oh gosh, I can't even think of the names of the groups. But one was especially like David Icke centered, talking about Nephilim and shapeshifters and stuff. And I kind of left that group before the other ones just because I don't believe in it, right? I don't believe in shapeshifter, and I'm not really a fan of David Icke. He's not a Christian, you know? And back then, especially, I was really uh, um, didn't want to listen to anybody who wasn't a Christian. You know, I've become a little bit more open-minded now, but back then it's like, well, David Icke's not a Christian. He's who knows who the heck, you know? Even though the other people in my group, the Yahoo group, were Christians for the most part. Um, yeah, so that's basically my, I don't know, truth or past, the evolution. And it wasn't until, okay, so I like stopped going on those sites, the Yahoo groups, I guess it was 2005. And then I started listening to Alex Jones again. Because, not again, I was never listening to Alex Jones. I knew of him, and I saw his websites and stuff. But I never was a listener of him until, 2008. It was right before I moved to New Hampshire. A few months before. So that's how long I've been listening to Alex Jones. And it's 2012, so 4 years. So that's about, I think that's when he started becoming very popular. Because most of the people I talk to, they say that's when they started listening to him. I think it's when he started going free. Because when I was like looking into his stuff, and like, I don't know, somewhere between 2003 and 2005, it might have even been 2004 that I left the Yahoo groups. But somewhere in that time, I was looking at his sites and everything, and he had to pay, and I didn't have any extra money, so at least that's what I saw. I might have just been looking at the wrong website, or maybe who knows. But I'm pretty sure you had to pay to listen to his radio program, kind of like Coast to Coast is now. Which is one reason I don't listen to Coast to Coast. Also, I don't have enough time. I'm sure I could find it for free somewhere on YouTube or something if I wanted to listen to it that much. Okay, so yeah, I've always pretty much been a truther. I've always been a questioner. For the most part, I questioned what authority told me. And then I was, like, when I was a teenager, I listened to a lot of punk rock, and I was an anarchist. I considered myself an anarchist. And I'd have long conversations with my dad about it, too. Because, he worked for the Pentagon. He was very straight-laced. He loved America. He loved the government. The American system of government that we have. And, we'd get in long arguments about it. Not arguments, but discussions. I don't think he ever changed his view. My view has changed. I'm not an anarchist. I do believe in less government, but I think that some form of government is necessary. It's become corrupt, which is why I think a lot of people are anarchists. They don't see that there could be a government that wasn't corrupt. But I do think that there could be a government that wasn't corrupt. It's like saying that there can't be a policeman that's not corrupt, or a judge, or I don't know, anybody else who's in authority, a teacher. When, yes, people who... It's like saying... what I was saying is, yes, people who want to be powerful are attracted and just a better system where they would weed out those kind of people from being policemen. Now, the way it is now, those are the people that are getting the jobs. They're encouraged. But it's not always going to be like that, hopefully. I think anarchists are pessimists. They don't think that any kind of system could run good. Whereas I don't think that... Well, I don't know. I don't see how they can think that when I don't understand. I don't even understand how I used to think that a society could exist without some kind of laws. And the old question, who'll build the roads? That's... Think of it this way. Who will put the red lights and the green lights up? And who will time them so that people don't hit each other? It's more than just roads. There's so many other things. And I think it's human nature to have some kind of government. Even when you put, like, a group of children together and you don't tell them anything and the children are playing, there's always going to be a child that becomes the leader. Always. That's just the way people are. That's human nature. So while I'm not an anarchist, I don't believe in corruption, and I do think things need to change. They need to change drastically. Alright, okay, so that was my radio show today, me talking about me. Oh boy. Which is, I don't know. I don't think I'm comfortable talking about myself, but it seems to be the only thing I do talk about myself. I do talk about because maybe it's the only thing I know that well. I don't really trust anybody. I don't trust like outside sources. I just trust myself. So I'm kind of, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I guess I'll get off of here before I sound too much like, I don't know. Before I sound too bad, anyways. Before I say something and it can be taken the wrong way. So. And everybody does. It's like, I don't know, it feels like anything I say or anything I put on the internet, people are just trying to like find hidden meanings and take it whatever I say and twist it and be like, oh no, she meant this, oh no, she meant that. When really I didn't mean anything. I just like wanted to, I wasn't even thinking about it, you know, and then like looking back and things was like, oh wow, this could have been taken so wrong. You know? That's why I hate people that talk like that. I hate it when people talk in like hints and codes. If you were following me on Twitter like 3 years ago or whatever, that's like one of my biggest things I would tweet about is how much I hate it. Because it can be so confusing and you can take things so wrong. And I don't want to be taken, I don't want somebody to take what I say wrong. So I don't hint around. I don't like beat her, beat around the bush. I'm very straightforward. Like, I say what I mean. I don't hint. I really don't. And it annoys me when people do. Because I want straight answers. Otherwise I get confused. Because I'm not psychic. You can't hint at something and expect me to know what you mean. How can you expect me to know what you mean if you're hinting? I hate people that do that. Oh, my enemies do that to confuse you. Seriously. Because they can say a bunch of garbage and you think it means something, or you can spend like 5 hours trying to figure something out and it's just garbage. Screw that. It's like I was getting spam emails. And it's just garbage. It's my enemies. I hate those. I hate people who spam email. Bunch of jerks. And oh well. Alright, it's almost a half hour anyways, so I'm gonna get off of here. And I will broadcast more tomorrow, most likely. Okay. Thank you for listening. Wake up.